Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming by. Today we're going to be doing your career and financial reading, and we're going to be really focused on for the month of October, and specifically what you can really manifest through this new moon energy. And new moon happens to be in Libra as of today, as of October 6th. So I thought that it would be really fitting to really tap into the manifestation process, tap into your career, tap into all of that and see what you need to know. So as you can tell overhead, we have 3 decks in front of me. I keep calling them decks. It's 3 piles. So pile number 1, 2, and 3. So take a moment, take a deep breath. Actually, why don't we do that together? So let's take a deep breath through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So once you get centered, then take a moment and see which deck you are gravitating towards, and then we can get started. Here are your close-ups of each of the crystals. Actually, you can't see because of my sweater. So here we are. Your first crystal is this beautiful tiger's eye. Second is an amethyst piece. And last one is a really smooth, clear quartz. Beautiful. Okay, let's get started with group number 1. I don't know about you guys, but this new moon energy is so intense. At least it's intense for me. I'm finding that energetically I just need some extra rest, some extra time to take care of myself. Okay, so if you have picked the tiger's eye, then this is going to be for you. So first and foremost, we have plants, we have growth. We have plants and growth. Basically, I feel like you are going through this transitional phase right now in your career where you're being really presented with a lot of obstacles. You're being presented with a lot of places and things and challenges that are really asking you to see if you can not only overcome them, but see sort of what it brings out of you. If you're feeling this Mars energy that's just very agitated and very independent, then I feel like you might be in this phase in your work, in the work that you do, or in any extra endeavors that you're choosing to do, where you're really asked to stretch yourself. If you're feeling the tension, then the tension is actually there for you to not only rise to the occasion, but for you to really overcome those obstacles and see how you become just better and bigger. And like it's all about your expansion right now. I feel like this is coming up because I feel like there's tension, but then there's also a room for you to grow. So, and it's for your highest good. It's happening because you are here to basically grow and expand within the field that you're doing. Perhaps you're doing a lot of problem solving. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And then we have signs. We have signs. Instincts are the message from the inner divine. I think that you're really asked to start listening and to paying attention to all of the different signs that are coming up, all of the different nudges that are sort of trying to show you what it is that you need, like which direction do you really need to shift and kind of grow. I also think that you're having a hard time with really listening to your intuition when it comes to that. But Spirit is really asking you to start listening a little bit more and look for the signs of synchronicities, because that will be your guiding light of which direction you really need to go into, which direction you need to develop into, and what are actually things that are actually in alignment. And it's encouraged for you to not only ask questions, but to ask for more signs. So if you're feeling lost, ask for more signs. The universe will absolutely deliver. And Creator Earth. So like a lot of earth and grounding energy happening. I think that it's going to be really beneficial for you to get grounded. Perhaps you're a little bit too much in your head, too much with your emotions. And right now, like that's not what we actually need to get rooted back down into the physical, into perhaps right now is going to be a really good time for you to really re-examine what's happening with your finances, what's happening with your budgeting. Like if you've kind of fallen off track, then this would be your time to really kind of get that back on track and to get grounded. I feel like you're really too much in your head right now, like more than anything else. I feel like you're not only too much in your head, but also you need to really get rooted down and almost like buckle down so that you can kind of really, you can really manifest truly the base foundation of what you actually want to create. Because keep in mind that whatever intentions you're setting right now, then that will actually follow you for the next 2 years. And with this earth energy, it's all about getting rooted, getting grounded. But getting rooted also means setting up foundations, and setting up foundations within your work, setting up foundations and structures. So it's not so much that you might be changing jobs, but what I'm getting more is, it's almost like you just kind of need to put your nose to the ground and really get things moving, get those mechanisms moving so that you can really start manifesting the way that you really want to, right? And let's see what the tarot has for us. So we have Ace of Wands, we have 8 of Wands in reverse, we have 9 of Pentacles, and King of Wands also in reverse, lots of wands. I feel like you're getting a lot of downloads. You're getting a lot of inspiration in a sense of, it's almost like you're starting to kind of connect the dots of where you're going to be going, or if you haven't yet, then you absolutely will be. I also feel like you want this quickly, you know. Perhaps you're kind of going through this change with your work, or you're thinking about making some changes in your work, and you get so like out there that you have to kind of find a way to kind of wheel things back. But then it's almost as if you just need to really detach from this idea that it needs to happen fast. It's almost like that idea that speed equals success, where really there's something really magical about allowing things kind of percolate, allowing things to really start, like, not only, see, because here, like, we've got a little bit of that fire, we've got a little bit of that, the small flame, which can actually ignite and become bigger. But in order for this to become bigger, you need to kind of connect the dots of, like, okay, what is it that I really need to manifest in the physical so that it can kind of get going, right? And being so emotionally and mentally attached to speed is not really the best thing right now. And it's not the best thing right now because it's not giving you, it's not going to give you the best overall outcome. I also feel like with this 9 of Pentacles, it's very much about really just working on your craft, really allowing them to not only take root, but to really harvest the things that you're working on. Really, again, it goes back to your money, to take care of your money, to take care of, like, I feel like these two, like the creator earth, where really need to get grounded, and your 9 of Pentacles in reverse, they kind of talk about the same thing, where it's like you're not handing out your hard-earned money and your hard-earned energy. You're not just handing them out free and willing, you know, like you really want to kind of take care of the things that you have created and continue to work on them, but continue to work on them in a way that you really preserve. And only, like, I'm kind of getting like there's a sense of, like, just being free and willing with anything and everything around you. Like, really take care of the things that you worked on, because then there can be, like, that sense of celebration again, like with that fire, with that momentum. And I feel like you sort of, it's almost like you want to kind of skip chapters before you kind of get to that. Honestly, one of the biggest things that you're going to have to focus on right now is really get rooted and really start working on creating a little bit more stability within your work, within perhaps putting some systems in place so that you can put things on autopilot. Because, like, right now it's all here, but it just needs a little bit of a recalibration. And it's not to say that you can't have the freedom, that you cannot have, you know, the abundance, and you cannot have, you know, this really successful, abundant life. But the thing is that before that can happen, you also need to kind of put some systems in place so that it can kind of work for you, which is kind of part of the journey right now. And I think that that's where this growth comes in, that right now you're really learning that in order for things to really start to grow and expand, you need to really put down those base roots. This is all I have for you, group number 1. Stay tuned until the end because I will be pulling a couple of abundance cards for you. Actually, no, crystal cards that I think will help you ground down your energy and see if it can help you recalibrate just a little bit. So let's go to group number 2. Okay, friends, group number 2, here is your crystal, your beautiful amethyst cluster piece. So let's get started, see what's coming up for you. Change and wind. So the element of wind and ultimately change. What are you changing? What do you need to change? What are you kind of being stuck on? Everything involves change and breaking structures down, rebuilding them, you know, moving them around, moving particles around, rebuilding aspects of your work that it's almost like right now you're invited to really break down aspects of your work that are really not working, but then rebuild and continue to move forward, or continue to move forward in a lighthearted way on areas that are working. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of things that are working for you, but I also think that right now things are shifting. That's what it is. That things are, well, things are always shifting, but it's up to us to see what we will do with that change. See where that will take us, because sometimes you don't really know where it will take you unless you kind of like release that grip a little bit. And I feel like some of you are wanting to grip a little bit too tightly when it comes to just allowing that shift to take place. So it's almost as if you know that change is coming, but you're still gripping on to some stability. And right now, this is not about stability. Right now, this is about allowing the flow. Think of the wind. When it's just a light breeze, it can be the most soothing thing. But when it's really strong, it can also become a tornado, right? And it's all about shape shifting and really moving things around us, but moving things around us in a way that it can actually be a good thing, right? I can't even make this up. What did I just talk to you about? I told you about letting go. The wind energy is asking you to release the grip and to flow a little bit more. And also, you need to let things go. Everything is indeed out of control and God will hold it all. I think that for some of you, you just have a really hard time with. You need to really embrace that, especially within business, especially within your career and the way that you manage money. It's all an illusion. Well, kind of, but it is an illusion, and you need to really allow it to become what it is, because sometimes you don't even know if you're gripping onto this idea, right? That it has to be a certain way, then you're not leaving space for it to become what it can actually become. Like, we can talk about manifestation all day long, but unless you really release this idea that it has to be controlled every step of the way, it requires your faith, and that requires you letting go. It requires you to hand the reins over to something bigger than you. It requires your faith. Know that you will be protected, know that you will be taken care of, and know that what you're going through right now, it's all designed for your highest good, right? Like, it's all designed so that it allows you to grow and to change and evolve. Alchemy, you are essentially creating something beautiful, but I think the only way that you can do that is if you create space for it, and you have to create space for it so that things can manifest the way that they really need to. And you can't do that if you're so stuck on, basically you can't create more abundance with the systems that you have in place if you're not creating space for something new. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm only doing one thing and one thing only, and I'm never changing anything, and I'm never really releasing that grip of like how, like, basically release the idea that you kind of know how it, allow it to become what it needs to become, but also be like the wind, like welcome change and Allow the change to take place in a natural way, but also be okay with it shape-shifting, because it will. It never manifests the way that we really thought, and a lot of times it ends up, but that's okay, because then you're giving it a chance to become something better. Then we have Justice, the Six of Cups, Ten of Swords, and the Judgment card. I think that this is going to be all about not so much creating balance, but I mean, it is creating balance, but it's also creating justice. I feel like this is actually the Libra card here. But this is about really balance. It's very much a balancing act for you, because you have a hard time releasing, right? Like, it's going to be about letting go, but also if you have, for this week in particular, you will probably have a lot of those insecurities, a lot of those weaknesses that will come through. If you're watching this today, Mars energy is probably the strongest, so you might actually be really highly triggered, and uncomfortable conversations will come up. We went into this more in detail in my energy reading in my last video, so take a look at that, and hopefully that will actually help you, kind of bring you some guidance. I do give you a few recommendations as to what you can do with this energy, but I'm very much feeling like this is all about shadow work for you. This is all about integrating the parts of you that are really fighting this aspects of change, right? Especially if you're sitting here and really reminiscing of what was. Don't be so attached to, and isn't it funny how they are completely aligning? Don't be so attached to this idea of what was. It's almost like you're in love with how your work used to be. You're in love with how simple things used to be. And the thing is that when we're so attached to how things used to be, then we're not seeing what is today, and we're not allowing the future to really unfold, so that we see the blessings in all of that, because it can really get you in a mindset of, you know, just living through the past. And that happens with a lot of generations right now, where they're really, really living. And I mean, like, all it takes is for you to like talk to a few people for 5 minutes. And if you're finding that people are really reminiscing about the past, but that's all they talk about, that's all that feels real to them, then you know that they're really living their lives through the past, because then things kind of stop. It's almost like time has stopped, and they stopped changing and evolving, which gave them the permission to do that. Don't be one of those people, because the thing is that that's going to bring a lot of sorrows, which it already kind of is. It's that concept of, you know, all of these bad things that are happening right now, and it can only go in a negative outcome. And with everything really in life, just know that everything has two sides of the coin, right? It's not always just negative, and it's not always just positive. Everything has, it's absolutely a balancing act. And to me, with the Judgment card, this is all about releasing. Again, it's going back to that letting go. It's going back to like listening to your higher self, but also allowing it to really help and guide you. Like, everything here in this reading is all about flowing and moving and shape-shifting in a way that you can really create the abundance that you're really hoping to create. And I think that you've already started to tap into that, but focusing on the past is not going to get you there. So this whole reading is all about recalibration for you. It's all about really get present, get grounded, and know that what you're creating is absolutely possible, but you have to release this negative connotation of whatever is triggering you right now. And astrologically right now, we are actually set up in the perfect position where you can actually do that. So I think that will be really good. If you need deeper guidance as to what's happening energetically, please check out the video that I mentioned, because I think that will actually guide you a lot more. I get into more specifics of what you can actually do right now. But as for right here, what it's telling you when it comes to your career is that stop hanging on to what was, get really present of what is right now, and attach that to what is it that you really want to create, because that's ultimately what matters, is that regardless of what happened in the past, of how beautiful this company was, or how beautiful your work was back in the day, or how easy it was to manifest back in the day. It doesn't matter. What happened is it's already gone. Like the moment it takes place, it's already finished. That energy has shifted already. So what you really need to kind of get honest with yourself about is, do I really want to spend more time in this space, or do I really want to just get more focused on how can I create my best life right now, right at this moment? Because through these decisions, then you can actually go and move forward in a more productive way. This is all I have for you, group number 2. Stay tuned until the end. I will pull a couple of crystals that I think will be helpful and useful in the form of manifestation. So let's go. Group number 3. Alrighty, group number 3. Here we go. Let's do this. So you have your clear quartz for your crystal. And let's see what you need to know about your career right now with this new moon energy. Ooh, you're really manifesting some magic here. You're really tapped into, it's almost as if you're tapped into source, and you're getting these mass downloads of like bringing all of these different elements into play. You're tapping into this energetically. Like, I think that a lot of you are there where if you're not there yet, the remainder of the month you absolutely will be. I think that my recommendation would be really just to get really clear on what your intentions are for this with this new moon energy. But I think that you're tapped into source. You're tapped into source. I think that the work that you're doing is allowing you to align with your values. It's allowing you to manifest this beautiful abundance in your life in the most aligned way, really, where it's almost like you're doing your life's work. That's what this feels like. And that can feel like magic. When things flow, it can feel like magic. You're doing this effortlessly. Welcome back, Mercury retrograde. Okay, what's happening with this grief? I think that you've held on to so much pain for so long that right now it's really, let me just move this. Right now you're really starting to learn that when you allow your heart to be a little bit more open, and for you to be a little bit more open, then doors are starting to open up. Do you know what I mean? So I think that especially when it comes to manifesting, it's almost like your work involves, perhaps you're an energy worker, you're a healer, but in order for you to be successful at what you do in a true fulfilled way, then I think that involves you going through this healing process, which I think is actually what's happening, which is why I think you're tapping into source. You're tapping into really what is the thing that's allowing you to not only heal, because perhaps your work involves you healing and then you're sharing that through service into the world in one way or shape or form, which can take many different forms, obviously. But I think that you healing these inner wounds, perhaps you're doing a lot more inner work right now, or you're going through your own form of transformation, your own form of healing journey. But when these two are in full alignment, then you can really truly manifest from this healed place. So like, I'm definitely seeing a lot more healing, the good kind. It's like, these are all good things. These are all absolutely good things, but I think it's a matter of like what your perception is of that, right? But I also think that you have the opportunity right now. Like, I feel like this is an absolute opportunity for you to really create from the heart, really create, and really, even if you work for someone else, really create that abundance, really create those systems financially where you're really truly manifesting through alignment. You know what I mean? And I think that if you're not in alignment yet, you absolutely will be, but it's just a matter of you tapping into your biggest wounds and then allowing them to come up to the surface and heal. Again, where we are energetically, this is not such an out there idea, because this is where we are energetically with this new moon and with Mars and all of these things being in Libra. it does not surprise me at all that this is coming up, that through healing, you will be able to create more abundance, but you have to allow them to come up, and then you have to allow them to transmute or transcend into something different, into this healed version of you, right? Don't think that this inner work will not translate into all aspects of your life, because it absolutely does. It affects the way that you are within relationships, within business partnerships, with the way that you relate to others. So I just want to kind of preface that you might be kind of writing this off as it's a waste of time, but I'm telling you it's not. Doing energy work and doing inner healing work is so important, because you're going to find that it's going to be blocking you at every step of the way. The way that you might be like overthinking certain things that are like completely straightforward. Okay, let's see what we have for the tarot. We have the King of Swords, we have the Wheel in reverse, we have the King of Wands, and also in reverse, and we have the Star. Let's unpack, shall we? Let's unpack. I feel like you're really trying to get to the heart of things. You're really trying to connect to what is it that's really going to be the thing that's going to help you kind of move forward and really create and really attract the things. Like, I think that you have that energy about you that's very wholesome, you know. I think that you know what you want, you're very determined, and you know, certain people, like, you're definitely a leader in whatever you're doing. But I also think that you have been holding on to you've been holding on to too much, and perhaps you've been carrying too much. But right now, basically all of the things around you, perhaps the way that you relate to people at work, or the way that you are showing up at work, or the type of work that you're doing, it's shifting. It's shape-shifting completely. And it's turning things, but it's almost like it's turning your luck around as well. Like, it's almost like up to this point, you might have been really grinding. It felt really mucky. It felt really slow, the way that you're creating that. The way that you create, and the way that you make money, the way that you trade your hours for dollars, right? Like that is shifting. That is absolutely shifting, and it's asking you to kind of, it's almost like look at it like at a different perspective and go with more ease. You know what I mean? But that comes with basically integrating the things that you have healed into the work that you do, which might not make much sense, but really, like, when you allow certain aspects of yourself to heal, then you show up, like I said, you show up differently at work, you relate to your money differently. Like, it might actually be for some of you that you're on this path, on this healing path, to create something totally different. And then with the King of Wands, again, like, tapping back into your heart will also allow you to tap back into that inner strength that you have. Because some of you might feel like you really just don't have it in you to carry forward. You really don't have it in you to constantly grind through just so that you make a little bit of money, right? I definitely feel like some of you are going to be very much working with, you know, rewiring your money stories, rewiring the way that you relate to abundance, rewiring a lot of that. And that will absolutely have to come from that inner work. That will come from creating that connection to something greater than you, leaning on your faith, and really, it's almost like you're creating this heart-based business, or you're working for this company that allows you to really be connected to something greater than you, so that you're actually creating more abundance for yourself. And you know, with the Magic card, like, all of these downloads, they're already coming towards you, right? It's just a matter of tapping in, and that's up to you if you want to do that or not. But I think that it's in your best interest, because whatever the intention is right now, it's going to carry you through for the next 2 years. So just keep that in mind as well. This is all I have for you guys for group number 3. It's been an interesting reading. Mercury is in full effect still. Like, my camera with like one video on it just completely died out like a moment ago. So here we are, we made it through. Let's pull a few cards for you guys for the collective. I went to pull some healing crystals, so hopefully, you know what? Yeah, we'll pull some healing crystals so that it can kind of give you some guidance. So let's go. All right, you guys, we made it to the end. Good job. High five to all of us. Let me know if you guys like this setup with like the multi-camera angle, because it took me a minute to set it up, but if you guys like it, I might just do readings like that from now on. Let me know. Let me know if you enjoy seeing me as I read to you. Or if you just prefer just the overhead camera, because I'm good either way. Okay, what does the collective need to know for this new moon, for their career and for their money? What do they need to know? Open up your heart and go deeper. Okay. And live in the now. Very good advice. Align your work and the way that you relate to your money through the heart, not through intellect. So through the heart. And what do I mean by that? Sorry, this is going to be a little bit longer reading, but I don't think you guys mind. When you realign with the work that you do as a heart-centered business, as a heart-centered offering, then it gives you a lot more fulfillment. The other thing is that when you relate to your money, when you relate to the work that you do as much more than just you showing up for a paycheck, then I think that will allow you to not only feel more fulfilled, but also it'll attract a lot more abundance. And with Unakite, live in the now, I think that for some of you, you absolutely need to stop dwelling on what was in the past or how things were in the past and how things are changing, and just accept that change is inevitable. It's always going to be changing and shifting the way that we do things. And you have to trust that it's for the better. You absolutely have to trust that it's for the betterment of humanity, the betterment of like your highest good. It's not there to trip you up. It's there for you to grow and evolve. This is all I have for you. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I will be offering a lot more extended reads if you guys are interested. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you are. I would love to chat with you guys. And that's all I have. And I will see you guys again in my next video. And if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. You can send me all of the good vibes. You can like this video. You can subscribe, hit the notification button, all of that good stuff. And just keep in mind, I will link this yesterday's video in the comments. I mean, in the show notes, in the description, because I also released a very special video as of yesterday where I also give you a special gift that you can use in my shop right now. So just keep an eye out for that. This is all I got. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys again in my next one. Bye.